These are the gardens at Quail Run Creamery, and they're just adjacent to the goat run, so it's nice. They can throw scraps and weeds right over the fence and compost so that the goats can eat all they want. Some beans growing up the side of the fence, but it's probably a 6-foot fence at least to keep the deer out. It's very neat and orderly. We grow a lot of different kinds of peppers. That's what these 3 rows are all. Various kinds of peppers, hot and mild and sweet, and a large selection also of tomatoes, which starts from seed in the spring. It's kind of a salsa garden, and we canned about probably 11 quarts of awesome salsa yesterday using all the tomatoes that we could find. It's starting to be the rainy season, and we wanted to get them picked before they started to get real wet and rotting. The sun's coming out a little bit, but it's been raining probably for the past 3 or 4 days. And we have some beds here that with some seedlings just starting to come up. This was some squash, some zucchini, and also yellow squash down here still growing. You can see there. So I have some yellow squash. We just also pulled a lot of sunflowers out to dry. He uses those for bird food and animal feed. There's some rows of green beans, I believe, and here we have carrots and beets, and they look really good. Leslie made some of her cumin carrots a few days ago, and they were excellent. There's some basil, cilantro down there, and here is a nice bed of onions, green, yellow, and white, all different kinds. Love those onions. And there's some winter squash growing over here. I think we already harvested some acorn squash, but you can see there some sort of winter squash. And I believe those are spaghetti squash drying over there. The vines have shriveled up and they're probably ready to go. This is Kahu, the guardian of the sheep. He's a Great Pyrenees. He sleeps with them and hangs out with them all day, and everywhere they go he goes, so he's the protector, and I guess his job is to fight off coyotes and mountain lions. I don't think he's ever run into a mountain lion, but he's big enough. He's actually really friendly though. So that's the garden, and over there you can see the goats. They're in their shed, but they don't seem to like the rain, but if we're throwing out garden scraps, they'll come along here and browse. And some compost on this side, and it's also right next to one part of their orchards. They have actually three small orchards, and I'll show you what's over there next. We're going to pick some Asian pears today and core them and slice them and dry them. So hopefully I'll make a video of some of that process. This is the orchard next to the gardens, and as you can see there's a flock of chickens. I think they have almost 30 chickens, and the coop's up on the hill, but they seem to hang out down here during the day, and you can see why. There's lots of apples and probably a lot of other good things to eat down there on the ground. You can see the pears are right now too. I'm not sure what these varieties are, so I apologize for that, but they are all tasty. And we're going to be making applesauce and drying fruit, and hopefully make some nice desserts too. Look at the size of these apples. That's my hand. Leslie and I actually tried to eat one of these the other day because we've been sampling them and they weren't that tasty, but I guess they're best for applesauce and baking. I guess they make a better baking apple than an eating apple. But these are the Asian pears that we're going to be picking today. They're a nice color. And we're just going to be slicing them up with the apple core that peels them and cores them, and then we're going to throw them in the dryer. One of my favorite things in this orchard though are these guys. These plums. They're just delicious. This nice blue color. They're just everywhere. You just can't. He has so many great trees. Maybe it's the goat manure compost, but they're just loaded with these. If you walk up under here, you can see even more. There's one. They're really delicious. I just come out here and marvel at them and eat a few almost every day. So those are the orchards. There's another one on the other side. There's actually, a couple of different separate orchards with different trees, and this is what we're going to be doing today. Picking these guys. This is the chicken pen above the orchards at Quail Run Creamery where we're staying. I think there's about 30 chickens in here, and they get fed food scraps, and as you can see there's creamery scraps. I think Scott had a batch of cheese that didn't go the way he wanted, so the chickens benefit from that. They lay eggs and we eat the eggs. They're really good. They range out through the orchards during the day and peck at fallen fruit, and I'm sure all the insects that are in the orchards. I guess it's good pest management. They look really happy and healthy. They have one rooster. A happy rooster. This is Leslie and her new favorite cat, Cheddar. He's a rascal. He's always causing trouble and knocking stuff over. But today we're finishing the preserving of the Asian pears that we picked yesterday. These beauties. Calvin just got in last night and he's already using the pear core, twists, peels and cores into these nice spirals like this, and then we soak it in some lemon juice to keep it from browning. Put it on these dehydrator trays, and then we put it in one of two dehydrators. There's a small one and we have a big homemade one outside, and they shrink to about half the size and dry nicely, and then we bag them. And I'm not sure how long they last after that, but that's what we're doing, and then we repeat the process for days on end until the entire orchard is gleaned of all its fruit, which I can't imagine ever happening, but that's the goal.